In today's vlog, I want to share the honest truth and reality of the journey of my business from start to where I am now, with things I've never shared before, numbers, details I never thought I'd share, as well as stories of how it really was. First, let's start on October 9th, 2023. This was a very significant day because it was one of the heaviest days of my life and of my business. And it was one of those moments when I really wanted to quit. And I thought that there's no way that I should keep going. What ended up happening, we had a really hard time the few months before that. And once we were able to finally pay for an apartment, like the cheapest apartment that we could find in Siem Reap in Cambodia back at the time, it was maybe $200 a month. We finally paid for a month of the apartment. We were able to take a little deep breath, and 2 days later, after we had dinner, we got home. It was maybe 9 p.m. and I looked at my bank account, and my bank account said $1.04. And I was sitting there on the chair, looking at my fiance, who was not feeling that great at the time, and she was feeling kind of sick. And I remember thinking, like, wow, like, we're not gonna have food tomorrow. Like, we can't eat breakfast, we can't eat lunch, we can't eat dinner. And so, what are we gonna do? And so Julia went to sleep. Can you guess if I went to sleep or not? I didn't go to sleep, and I decided to just work overnight, do whatever it takes today to make at least a couple dollars, to do something so that we can eat the next day. And I was able to sell a membership of one of my communities back then. It was like $27. And I remember finally I made that sale, and I went to sleep, and I woke up the next day, and we talked like, hey, we can eat today, yay. And honestly, it was such a low moment, and I wish that I could say that since then I've never struggled. I wish I could say that moment was the day, that moment was the moment when everything started to change, and I never went broke again, and I never had any problems with my business again, because I just became so determined and so disciplined and whatever. And I didn't. Now, obviously, I was able to solve that problem and move forward and figure it out. And I've had many, many tough moments since then. And I want to open this video by sharing this because business is really tough. It will test you. It's especially really tough as a mental, emotional, and spiritual game. It will test you in more ways that you can probably imagine. And of course, you can prevent a lot of these things. And I believe that everything in life happens for us. So all of these hard, difficult moments that I can look back at, well, first of all, I'm the most proud of. Secondly, I learned the most about myself and about the world and about business in those moments. And I also have that, like, I know now, like, whatever happens, even if I'm like, I don't know where I'm gonna sleep, I don't know what I'm gonna eat, and I have no money, I know I can figure it out because I've done it before. So with that comes this immense sense of peace and drive and confidence that I know whatever comes my way in life, I'll be able to figure it out. So now let's get into the more fun parts of business. I first started my business back in 2019 when really I just wanted to figure out how to make money online and at the same time try to help people, right? Because I knew that I want to help people with mental health, with confidence, with mindset, because that's kind of what I did. And the self-help industry, the personal growth content and videos that I've been consuming since 13 years old absolutely changed my life and helped me out tons. And in the last 6 years, the total revenue of my business, of my coaching business, is just a little bit over $50,000. I've been doing this for 6 years, and that's about the revenue that I've generated overall. I have the exact number first because I didn't know good enough to actually track every single thing. Now I know better. And secondly, there's different platforms. So I can just look through, there's different payment processors that I've used over the time, right? So I would have to go digging really deeply into all of this. Even as an online coaching business, that doesn't sound so good. I mean, any business for that sense. 6 years, that doesn't sound impressive at all. That sounds actually pretty bad. If you average that out for what that is per month, that's pretty bad. That's really, really bad. Now, the difference is, or important thing here to say, is that more than a third of that has been year. So that says that my business has been growing consistently, and it's becoming bigger and bigger the longer I do it. And that's one of the things that I tell people all the time, like, you're missing one important factor, which is time. Everybody wants to do everything so quickly. Oh my God, I want to make 10K in 90 days. I want to have a 6-figure business in 6 months. Like, it sounds great. And what is trending around on the internet, put in the work. Now, here's another thing. 50K might not sound that impressive, even to me, but in Czech crowns, that's a lot. If you convert that to Czech crowns, which is my currency, that's a lot of money. If you think about, like, I started the first job that I ever had, I was making $2 an hour, $2 an hour. So to make 50K on my own fully, now that's better, right? And I'm not counting sponsorships and donations in that, by the way. That's just revenue that I've actually, like, in sales, because I've gotten other sponsorships and in other ways, as you probably have heard before in my stories. Another thing to think about is, for the past years that I've been doing this full time, I was able to support fully, right? And two people have survived on this fully. And I've visited more than 25 countries. And I'm a 25-year-old kid out of the Czech Republic right now who, you know, started off working in factories. Just at the beginning of my journey, and this is so far what I've achieved, what I've accomplished. Well, now it starts to make a lot more sense. Now it starts to be a lot more exciting than just the number itself, right? Because this now shows, oh my God, okay, I know at least kind of what I'm doing. I've made some decent money. It's not something but I mean, to me, it's still mind-blowing, to be fair. Like, the version of me 5 years ago, if I told myself, hey, like, you're gonna make this much money just on your own by the time you're 25, even on your own business only. Of course, I had jobs before then, between that, so I've made money through there as well, right? And so, still blows my mind, right? Just really quickly, let me check on this. Make about $1,200 a month. Maybe my dad a little bit more than that now, right? So the average salary, even for my parents, is less than $1,500 a month. So I've been making basically more money than my parents as a 20, just on my own with business. Again, another example. It's about the perspective, right? And again, I'm just at the beginning of my life. And so if this is something that maybe sounds like, well, that's not good enough, then don't worry about it. You can maybe just watch and see what happens in the next 2 years in my life, right? What I'm gonna do. But if you're like, wow, that's pretty good. And you know, I wish that I was able to do that. I wish that I was able to make extra 50K with just my business in the next few years. Then if you follow my vlog, and if you follow the journey, if you join the Academy of Creatives, that's where we talk about, that's basically how I share, like, exactly, transparently, fully, like how exactly I was able to do this. Where exactly I started, what exactly I did, what was the journey, the reality. I don't pretend anything, I don't hide anything, right? I just share, like, this is exactly how it was for me, this is what I did, this was the result, this is what I tried, this was the result, this was what I tried, this was the result. And I'm super excited to have a community, to grow a community of other people who are growing their online business. businesses this way, because maybe it's not gonna have to take you 6 years to get to the 50K mark. It's gonna take you 2 years, or maybe it's gonna take you 3 years, which would still be half the time that I spent. By the way, I also invested more than $15,000 into the education to be able to do this. Now, those returns, again, maybe not the best timing. I would love to have the time faster, but again, like, that's just not how it works. You gotta be patient, you gotta be consistent and working. And I've invested about 15,000 to get 50 back. Like, that sounds pretty good to me, right? That sounds pretty good to me. And that, again, this is just the beginning. I'm super excited with the progress that I made just in the last few days, like in the last 2 weeks. So the way I see business is kind of like this. Check this out, right? You start, and then you work, and you make, and something bigger happens, and you make a big jump. And then you work, and you make a big jump. And you work, and then it all goes to shit, and you drop down. And then you work, and then you make a big jump. And then you work, and you make a big jump. Right? And then it kind of maybe drops down or whatever. This is kind of how my business has been. So working consistently makes some progress, and then something clicks, something happens. You have a big break, you have a big breakthrough. I've had a big breakthrough, and I jump, and progress, and I jump. And now here's the thing, you don't want to just wait for the jump, right? The only reason why the jump happens is because you keep working. It's because you keep climbing slowly. And this is kind of how it's been for me. And of course, many dips, right? You can't forget about those. And this is how this is what the reality of building a business really is. And so if this is something that sounds like for you, wonderful. If it sounds too stressful or too uncertain and too unstable, then honestly, building a business might not be for you, right? It just might not, because it's not easy. It's not for everybody. It's only for people who are really committed, really determined. Now, can learn these skills? Can anybody learn these traits? Absolutely yes. But what you have to look at is if you want to have that kind of life. Like, you really have to ask yourself, right? I remember when I was 20 years old, right? And I had the decision whether I'm gonna stay in school or whether I'm gonna drop out, pursue this business and work really hard, like work full-time jobs and build this business on the side. And I remember very clearly, like, I was doing a lot of research and finding out, like, okay, what the reality of business is, not just the glorified way. Oh my God, these people who are making $10,000 a month, traveling around the world, having a great life, right? Great, I know that's awesome, but what's the reality? Like, what is it really like? How difficult is it really? What's day-to-day life to get there? What's the day-to-day life once you get there, right? And so if you've been following the vlog, you have a little bit more insight of what the day-to-day life. Of course, there's only so much that I can share through these short videos, and I have a lot happening, so it's hard to document as well. And so what I'm saying is, and what I really want you to hear is, you have to decide if you want this kind of life. Now, if you fully want this kind of life and you think this journey is for you, amazing, you can learn all of these skills and you can develop all of the traits. Even if you don't have the best patience, even if you don't have the best discipline, even if you don't have the best focus, if you are not the most resourceful person ever yet, you can develop these and build these skills. That's not the problem. The problem is really choosing, like, do you really want this? Do you think that you would enjoy this? Like, if not, then that's okay. You can have an amazing life, not building a business, have a job, being a part of an amazing company, fulfilling an amazing role at a company that also makes impact. You don't always have to be the founder. You don't always have to be the freelancer. So really look at what the day-to-day life is. What's the journey like? What is the actual experience of living this life? And then decide whether it is for you or not. Not only based on the result, okay? Because in the end, you're only gonna enjoy the result of it. It's about the journey. Like, you live life for the journey. There's reasons why all these cliches in motivational, there's a good reason why people say these. It's because it's true. So that's something that I wanted to share, just transparently. This is what it has been like. This is what I've done. This is even in numbers. I would have to directly look into the specific numbers. In the 100 customers in total, maybe 30, 50 of them have been high-ticket clients. Others have been community members or one-time customers, or some smaller programs that I've done, or courses sold, things like that, right? So that's putting it out there fully, the back end, behind the scenes of the business that I've built, the coaching business that I've been building. And now you know what my accomplishments and what my shortcomings were so far. And of course, it's all about continuous growth. It's all about continue progressing and moving forward no matter what. And I honestly think like right now is a really exciting time for me, because I really encourage you to, if you're doubting, just watch along. I'll be making these vlogs. I'm right here, right now. Right? Let's say somewhere right here, or maybe like somewhere right here on the graph, on the point. It's where, well, actually, this is past few months, it's been a hard time, honestly. It's just been a hard time, right? And it fell off. We lost a bunch of members, and things didn't work out the way I wanted to work out. Things didn't really work out so well, so it's been a little bit of a slide, and it's been discouraging, of course. And because I keep working, I was able to make some progress again and can catch up a little bit. And now, because of the breakthroughs that I had and the changes that I made in my business, like I said in earlier vlogs, I think it was last week or something, a couple of days ago, I made some changes and I'm already seeing some results. So I'm right here, about to have this big jump in my life and in my business as well. So that's kind of where I think I'm at. Super happy that I'm past the struggle, and yeah, wanted to share that today. There it is. I have a bunch of meetings coming up, and I'm also going to talk to my mentor to make sure that I have a fully refined strategy so I can fully move forward. Besides that, I want to make some videos for this gamified way that I'm hoping, and that's it really. So if you like what I'm about, come join Creative so you can turn your passions into online income as well, using this game that I'm developing, that I'm creating. Creatoria. I'm thinking I'm gonna call it Creatoria. I like the name, it sounds great. It sounds like a great journey and like an epic journey, something with creation, right? Because we're building a system for creative entrepreneurs to turn their passions, or creative people to turn their passions into business by starting we're building an amazing journey and a system and a framework and a game that people can follow to turn their passions into online income by building it into a business. There we go. That was much harder for me to say that initially thought. So that's that. I think day is over. This is what I wanted to share in today's vlog, and I'm super happy to document the journey. Super excited to do this. So yeah, come along to watch how it goes. By the way, Creatoria and the Academy of Creatoria is not my main business. My main business is social health coaching, where I have a different mission, different people, different target audience, different programs, different price. Everything is different. So I have two separate projects, two separate businesses this way. I've said this before. Social health coaching is totally separate, and the Academy of Creatives and Creatoria is totally separate as well.